Welcome to Nasdaq TradeTalks. I'm Jill Malandrino, Global Markets Reporter at Nasdaq. Joining us for this segment, we have Mike Seckler, CEO of Justworks, to discuss how employees and small business owners are approaching shifts in the work environment and finances. It is great to have you with us, Mike. Welcome to Trade Talks.
Yeah. Hey, Jill. Thanks so much.
You got it. And tell us about Justworks and the solutions you provide to support small and medium-sized businesses.
Sure. Justworks, we're a 10-year-old company, and we help over 11,000 small businesses grow with confidence by supporting them with everything they need to have a workforce. So HR, benefits, payroll, tax compliance. And we do this by bringing easy-to-use technology to them and surrounding it by 24/7 human support. And we focus on the most vulnerable parts of the market, which are the smallest businesses. The average Justworks customer has under 20 employees, and we really focus on companies that have under 100 employees.
So, Mike, what's your approach to the current economic cycle?
Well, what's interesting about our business model is because we make money on a per employee per month basis, our experience very much mirrors our clients. So when our clients are hiring, our business is naturally expanding. And when they're reducing the size of their teams, we experience headwinds. And so despite all the debate out there about whether we're going to have a recession or avoid a recession, I'll just say that the companies we serve, which tend to be talent-centric, white-collar businesses, if you just looked at them, you'd say we're very much in a recession right now, because starting last summer, the average Justworks customers reduced the size of their teams. For Justworks, in this environment, we focus on doing three things. Number one, we focus on making sure we're going to succeed even if the economic environment gets worse. We're a business that has historically generated cash, unlike many technology companies, so we're kind of set up well to do that. Number two, we're using this opportunity to turn over every stone to look at how we do work, to look for ways to be more efficient. And number three, we're focused on setting the stage because eventually the economy will turn and we want to be there for small businesses in much more expansive ways in the future.
Justworks recently commissioned the Harris Poll to survey over 1,000 full and part-time working adults in the U.S. for insights into how employees are experiencing shifts in the work environment, personal finances, and more. Mike, what were some of the key findings?
Well, we found that a lot of working adults are afraid right now because they're seeing layoffs all around them. So that's one thing. We're also seeing that they're feeling some shifts in the workplace as employers are perhaps becoming a little bit less accommodating. And we're also seeing a lot of individuals beginning to think about whether now is the time to take their entrepreneurial plunge.
Are employees turning to side gigs or a side hustle?
Yeah, we're seeing more and more of that. I'll say I've been around a couple of these downturns, and they're all a little different, but they rhyme in this one dimension. So I was a young entrepreneur in the dot-com boom and bust, and then lived through the financial crisis. And what you saw then is what I think we're seeing now, which is employees' calculus changes. And those people who've been making a lot of money and it never made sense to start their own business, or they didn't think it did, now are starting to wonder whether now's the time. And so just like in those past cycles, I think you're going to see a big wave of entrepreneurship that emerges out of this current economic uncertainty.
And speaking of the calculus, how do employees feel about corporate culture in this kind of environment?
Well, I think it's confusing for folks, particularly folks who've really only been in the workforce for the past 8 to 10 years, because we've been in an environment that's been characterized by a war for talent. Employers haven't been able to, they've been trying to grow and they've had a hard time finding all the people that they need. And so they've had to be really accommodating with regard to compensation and policies like return to office. And now that's starting to shift, where some employers are hiring less or they're beginning to reduce the size of their teams. They're feeling less pressured to address everyone's compensation needs. They're feeling more comfortable demanding that people return to the office. So I think it's confusing for a lot of people in the workforce.
You had mentioned before that there is a reduction in the workforce, but how are small businesses approaching hiring and existing staff? Everywhere I seem to go, anecdotally, smaller businesses, they have for help signs all over.
Yeah, I think it's really a tale of two tales, right? In the businesses that were largely shut down in the pandemic, restaurants, hospitality, those are still coming back. That's where I think a lot of the job growth is. But when you look at talent-centric businesses, technology companies, financial firms, law firms, design firms, those are a lot of our customers. And I can tell you for certain, we look at the data every day, they are on average reducing the size of their teams.
And finally, let's finish this on a positive note. Why will the next generation of startups benefit relative to prior years of new business formation?
Well, it's never been easier than to start a small business than today. I mean, things that you had to worry about in the past, like, setting up a data center, having an IT team to set up email, AWS and Gmail made those things really easy. Likewise, a small business that wants to have employees and comply with employees in multiple states, or to have a benefits program where you can compete for talent against the Amazons and the Googles of the world, thanks to companies like Justworks, that's never been easier than it is today. And so, I think this next generation of entrepreneurs is going to have a lot of wind at their back, and we look forward to getting to the other side of the cycle.
Yep, certainly sounds encouraging. Mike, appreciate the insight. Thanks for joining us on Trade Talks. I'm Jill Malandrino, Global Markets Reporter at Nasdaq.
Thanks so much, Jill.